about it that this was happening in the public arena. Look at it now, and it's happening so fast. This is a guy called Albert Pike, massive high Freemason in America, helped to create the Ku Klux Klan. Nice man. He wrote a letter, it is said, in 1871 to another one of this hidden hands assets called Giuseppe Mazzini, in which he outlined 3 world wars. The First World War was accurately described. The Second World War was accurately described. However, news of this letter only came to light in the 1950s in a book written by a former Canadian naval intelligence officer. So forget about World War I and World War II. They can't be relevant when it's written in the 1950s. So what we've got to go on is the Third World War, in which Pike said it would come out of the Middle East and would create a conflict that would draw more and more countries in until it was a world conflict. He said something else, that this is the area here, where he said it would come out of, where political Zionism would be played off against the Muslim world. And he said that in the run-up to this Third World War, they would unleash on the world what he called the nihilists. And this is the definition of nihilism. Oh no, sorry, before I get there, this is now where it's all going on, of course, with bombs and dropping in all directions, and all these different people, all these players. China's very much more vocal in their support for Assad now. Russia's there, of course, United States, Britain, and all that stuff. That's absolutely a powder keg waiting to go off, as we're seeing. Now, what he said was he would unleash the nihilists. And nihilism is defined as a political belief or action that advocates or commits violence or terrorism without discernible constructive goals. In other words, ISIS and these American, British, Saudi Arabian funded rebels are classic nihilists. And now we are seeing more and more blatant where this is designed to go. A few months ago, the Pentagon suddenly listed Russia and China as top global threats and wanted a 4-fold boost in defense budget to meet the threat. This is World War III agenda made simple. Everything is Russia's fault. So this is a story today on the BBC. US accuses Russia of cyber attacks. Someone exposes Hillary Clinton's manipulation of the candidacy and screwing Bernie Sanders, and it's the Russians' fault. So here we go. I've got a cold. It's the Russians. I've got a flat. It's the Russians. We're late for school. It's the Russians. I burnt the toast. It's the Russians. It's ludicrous what's going on. Russia wants war. Look how close they put their country to our military bases. Russia has not seen such a massive hostile military forces on its borders since 1941. And what's happening is the grotesque exploitation of children to emotionally put Russia and Assad in a bad light. This picture was actually taken by a photographer fundamentally connected to terrorists in Syria. And of course, when American and British planes kill children, it's not bloody mentioned. And we have these white helmets constantly giving the official version of everything. It's the Russians, it's Assad. The white helmets are funded by America, Britain, the European Union, etc. And if you go to my website headlines page yesterday, you'll see a extraordinary video where we're told the white helmets are pulling this child out of the rubble after some Russian or Assad attack. And they pick her out the rubble. She's got no injuries, no dust on her at all. And she's carrying a pristine, clean rag doll. All a hoax. Emotion. Oh, then that Assad, that Putin, they're horrible. We should do something. And then America attacks Syrian troops and takes out up to about 80 of them. Not a problem. Just in accident, when they killed dozens of civilians in Syria like they did this week, only the alternative media seems to cover it. And now, yesterday, we have the grotesque sight of a war criminal, John Kerry, the Secretary of State in America, calling for a war crimes investigation against Russia and Assad. They have no shame. So now the State Department, I know you saw this week, this guy called John Kirby, who's saying to Russia, if you keep supporting Assad, you're going to have terrorist attacks in Russian cities. You're going to have planes shot out there. You're going to have Russian troops going home in body bags. That's not a prediction. It's a threat. NATO is reviewing nuclear playbook to deter terrible attacks by Russia. Pentagon chief. US prepared to fight in Russian and Chinese missile defense zones. Direct aggression by US against Damascus to cause tectonic shift in Middle East, says Moscow. Of course, and you know, I posted this picture of Assad on social media on my website in November 2014, saying that ISIS bombing, it's the real target is him. And now we're seeing it. Russia warns against attacks on Syrian government territories. It's all building up exactly as planned. And what they're saying, this is Germany now, but others are saying, we want a no-fly zone over Syria. And that's not what they want. They want a no-fly zone for anyone except US coalition aircraft. And of course, that is what they did in Libya, and then they bombed the shit out of the population. And this is what the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in America said this week on Capitol Hill. Yes, we could put in a no-fly zone, but that would require war with Syria and Russia. Exactly what it's meant to do. Now, what's happening here, and I too completely understand people's memories of the communist regime in this part of the world, but what they're trying to do is paint Putin as a new Stalin. This is how they're playing it, because then they can justify taking out a country run by the new Stalin. In fact, in this inverted world, I'm not saying Putin is God gift to the world, but compared with the American administration, compared with the British administration, compared with the NATO leadership, this guy's a freaking peacemaker by comparison to that lot. And we must not fall for it. We must not fall for it. Look at the facts, not the bloody propaganda. And he's been now saying openly that the United States is planning World War III and 40 million Russians in emergency drills for possible nuclear, biological, chemical war events. He knows and has known for a long time where this was going. And China, they're providing aid and enhanced military training in Syria, so they're getting pulled in. There's this dispute with America and others going on in the South China Sea, which was when I was in Australia recently. China and Russia to hold drill in South China Sea, joint drill. And then China's warning against US deployment of the THAAD anti-missile system in South Korea. What they're doing is they want to put this anti-missile system into South Korea, the Americans. They say that's what they're going to do. Just as they want to do it in Europe, with that, where they want to put it in Poland. And people say, well, it's only a defense, missile defense system. No, it's not. Once you've got a defense system that can stop incoming missiles, you have first strike capability without any fear of what's coming back the other way. That's the whole idea of it. That's why they're doing it. China, US and South Korea will pay the price for military cooperation in the region. And then it's kicked off with India and Pakistan. This is all part of this chessboard that Brzezinski talked about, and the pieces are moving into place. And we've really got to understand what's going on, because they're selling this as it's all a system of a series of random events. It's not. It's been planned for so long. And she is the person who is chosen to come in and make sure it kicks off. Vote for me, I'll give you war with Russia and China. And he wants to shoot Iranian ships and a massive increase in the military. If he came in, he'd do the same bloody thing. Now, this puts it into perspective. Oh, America's under threat. Oh, really? America spends more on the military every year than the next 7 countries combined. It's